This is the second part. Now you go to Daniel chapter 4. It will tell you that this tree that had fruit that fed the whole earth, it was cut off, meaning the crude oil was shed out where it couldn't bear no fruit. Either it was yielding strength or the oil shed completely off. And it was not enough there to feed the whole earth. And once this nation found out they was cursed by God, they began to make war on the whole earth because their equipment, their heavy implement equipment, their space shuttle, their tanks, and all of these vehicles had to depend on the oil. And as they had fabricated lies that these nations hated America and was trying to make war on America, they were threatening America, and God cut the oil source off. Then they became angry because they had no crude oil to feed their peoples run their industries. And the plague that they had created with their own hands came upon them. They couldn't occupy the land because they couldn't continue to occupy the land because there was no crude oil to run their many mighty military fighting machines. Neither was there enough oil to run their implement machines here in the United States of America to feed their people. So this was God's way of fighting through this nation by shedding off the oil and causing it not to yield its strength. Sorry about that, but this happens every time when I start. Now, sorry about that. I want to go to the part in chapter 11 of Revelation chapter 11, where it will tell you how this oil came to be shed off and how the food change happened. Chapter 11, Revelation. And there was given me a reed like a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles and the holy city, that they tread underfoot 42 months. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth, and they bore their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in like manner be killed. These have power to shut down heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over the water to rain, water to turn them to blood. Let me read this. I'm rushing here. These have power to shut heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over the waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Okay, I'll stop right there. But the significant part is, when we go back to Revelation chapter 12, this is the war that God will impose upon this earth during these times, which is right now, which will come shortly. But let's go back to Revelation chapter 12, where the woman fled in the wilderness, and Michael fought against him. And in verse 8, Revelation chapter 12, and prevail not. Okay, verse 7, Revelation 12:7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angel fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Okay, right here is where the combination of God, Jesus Christ, who was Michael, and his two witnesses was fighting against the Antichrist, which would be connected onto the United Nations. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him. In other words, what this is telling you, the United Nations, who have dominated the whole world by lies and deceptions, which speaks here, that because of the curse that would be imposed upon them, it would be the same like manner as Pharaoh's and his army when his peoples was plagued during his reign, and God plagued their land, and their peoples cried with a great cry for the king of Pharaohs to let God's people go. This would be the same thing would happen to the United States of America. The witnesses, the two witnesses of God, and through Jesus Christ, will plague this earth, would plague, and these things will come upon them where they could not raise enough food, or they will not harvest enough food, and the water would be turned to blood in the same like manner as it was during the reign of the Egyptians when they oppressed God's peoples. And once they let them out and find out their land have been cursed by God, then they will go after, because they will go after remaining of these children of Israel, of Abraham. I'm going to use the word Abraham. What this is telling us, when we see these things happening now in Afghanistan, this is part of the Bible prophecy being fulfilled. All of this land over there is sacred ground. It's leading up to a curse upon the nation that invade this land. And what it tells you, it will tell you right here in Bible prophecy in Revelation chapter 12. I'm going to read this part. It said, and the great dragon, verse 9, Revelation 12:9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angel was cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brothers is cast out down, which accused them before God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice, you heaven, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, that means the remaining people of the earth, because these people will have to leave Afghanistan and all these places. Inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out into the earth, rejected and persecuted earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. In other words, once he found out he was cursing, he had to leave the place because he didn't have no oil or whatsoever to run his equipment, and he had to leave out.